Hamilton jumper. Knocks it down from the free throw line. Leroy Hamilton is a 6'3" senior forward for the two-time state champion New Mission Titans. While having to take a back seat to last season's standout seniors, Leroy thrived as a role player, a job that he gladly accepted during New Mission's championship run.
It's been a great experience playing with a great group of guys that I know ever since my freshman year. So it's glad that we can, for the seniors, that they can go out with a win, and we can just all be able to celebrate.
While not often the leading scorer on the Titans, Leroy was able to help New Mission win their second straight title by bringing many other skills to the court.
He does everything. I mean, he shoots really well, he rebounds.
He does all the little things to help. Like, he gets at least 3 or 4 offensive rebounds a game. And he also gets the steals, the loose balls and stuff like that.
He's always listening and taking criticism, both good and bad, regardless, on how he can make his game better or what he should do to make the team around him better.
Leroy has also earned a great deal of respect from New Mission head coach Corey McCarthy, who appreciates Leroy's character, his leadership, and a skill that he performs better than just about anyone.
His jump shot is money. I mean, I love the way he shoots the ball. His form is perfect, and he narrows in on the hoop.
But even amongst jack-of-all-trades basketball players, Leroy is unique, because the skills he brings to the basketball court are only half his story. Leroy Hamilton was born with a deformity on his left hand, leaving him with just a pinky and an extra-large thumb. But even though he plays a sport where hand-eye coordination is essential, Leroy's abnormality first went unnoticed by his teammates and coaches.
He was a quiet kid. He did a really good job of hiding it. Like, I couldn't tell at all.
Nobody sees it. Like, people in the crowd that come to our games all the time. My mother, for instance, she didn't even know. And she comes to every game, and she knows Leroy personally. And she didn't even know there was something wrong.
It wasn't until junior varsity tryouts that head coach Corey McCarthy saw the missing components to Leroy's hand.
It's only recently that I looked at his hand, but I've noticed that something was different about it. And then for a while, I actually thought it was fully functional because he was making layups with it. So it was different. I mean, it was something that he was clearly uncomfortable with at first.
But while Leroy first seemed uncomfortable with his abnormality, his teammates were unaffected by their friend's physical trait.
I was sitting next to him, and he always wore these like long sleeve shirts, and it so happened that his hand came out when I seen it. He was my boy, so I mean, nobody's perfect. Everybody has flaws to him, so it didn't faze me at all.
Nobody makes fun of him, none of that. You can never tell because he can lay the ball over with his left hand. He can make it in and out, make a crossover with his left hand. So it's no defect in his basketball ability at all.
Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I yelled at him, and then it'll get to me like, oh, I can't keep yelling at this kid because he's trying really hard, and he does have a disability, but still he catches more passes than some of my other teammates, and they have both hands.
And as he began gaining confidence with his uniqueness, Leroy started using his deformity as a source of motivation.
It motivates me to work harder, and I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable in my left hand when I shoot, just in everything I do in basketball. I feel like it's normal, So nothing in the world can hold you back. You can do anything. That's the mentality I always had. Of course, you might have to work. You might have to work a little harder. You might have to push yourself a little bit more. But who doesn't have to work hard,
Leroy's desire to work harder then became contagious amongst the New Mission Titans. And the results of that team-unified work ethic speak for themselves.
It went from a setback to almost a plus, because it was motivation for our kids and him to do better and be better.
It's a beautiful thing, like for someone to have a disability and still make the best out of it.
Leroy Hamilton has come a long way from the first time he was spotted in the New Mission gym. He now has a state title to his name and currently holds the position of team captain for this year's New Mission squad. And while the Titans face many challenges this season after losing 4 all-star seniors, Coach McCarthy can rest easy, knowing that he has Leroy to carry on New Mission's winning tradition.
He usually puts us before he puts himself. I'm glad that we're having him back. Leroy is a phenomenal person, and it'll make an impact on me. When I'm ready to go off and yell and scream at kids, I know I could just have Leroy send a softer message because he's so soft-spoken. You know, it's a pleasure coaching that kid.